everybody. I hope you are absolutely ready today. If not, you better get ready because in front of me, I have Dhomonique Murphy, and she is a three-time Emmy award-winning television journalist and a host. She's also been featured on the Steve Harvey Show, Fox, ABC, NBC, HSN, CBS, and multiple other platforms. Of course, she's an amazing person and she has a multiple credentials. But I'm going to share this with you and you better be ready. In front of you is Miss Virginia of America 2020. So congratulations, Dhomonique.
Ilona, I'm so happy to be here with you today. You are an absolute gem. You're a doll. The honor's all mine. Thank you for having me.
We are so humbled, and you are absolutely gorgeous. You're radiant. And I know that, the beauty is not just from outside, you are shining from within. First of all, you have an exquisite, amazing name. Tell us about your name.
Yeah, so my name is pronounced Dhomonique. A lot of folks say Dominique, but it's actually Dhomonique. I joke that everyone has 47 times to mess it up before I'll correct you. So if you say Dominique, I know you're talking about me, it's fine. But the lineage of my name is French and African. So my mom and dad decided they wanted a name that nobody else in the world had. So I don't know if that's good or bad. If you Google me, you'll only find me. So the H, the pronunciation Dhomonique is French. And then the H and the two O's, which is very unique, that is African. So my name is French and African.
It's a combination of the both worlds, and this is just amazing and it's beautiful. And you're right, being unique to stand out, this is the value right now because everybody in the world is trying to imitate somebody in life. But you need to have something, possess something in your life that you can be different. And Coco Chanel said, in order to be irreplaceable, you have to be different.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that's who you are. And you absolutely, that's why I gravitated towards you. When I saw you, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have her on my show.
I am so honored, Ilona. This is so much fun. All night last night, I'm like, oh, I cannot wait. So this is great.
Excellent. So Dhomonique, tell us a little bit, about you. What kind of child were you when you were growing up? What were your dreams? What were your inspirations or aspirations?
Oh my goodness, that's a loaded question. So childhood growing up, I'm from Minnesota originally. Yes, and I've lived all over the USA. I've worked in television for 20 years. So I've worked in Minneapolis, I've worked in Kansas City, I've worked in Cleveland, I've worked throughout Virginia. So I've been all over the place. But in terms of childhood, I grew up in a very working class family, mom and dad. I have one brother. And that was pretty much it. We learned lessons early on in life that in order to be successful, you had to make it happen. My dad would always say, make it happen. That was his line and still is. Dhomonique, make it happen. And so I grew up with that mentality of anything in life is possible. You can achieve it, but you have to be the one to make it happen because no one else is going to do it for you. So I grew up with that kind of support, which was great. And that has helped me in my journey to present day. Graduated from high school in Minnesota, went to college in Missouri, and then I've worked all over the country. So my childhood was a little bit different. I started hosting television shows when I was 14 years old. My very first show was called Whatever. It was on the NBC affiliate in Minneapolis. And the show was a lot like Entertainment Tonight with a harder edge. So we would cover celebrities and movie premieres and cooking and all that fun stuff. But we also touched on issues that were of great importance to children, to teenagers, things like bullying, suicide, mental health, eating disorders, things that unfortunately a lot of young children and teenagers deal with. So it was a little bit of a blend of the two. So that was my start early on in my career.
Wow, I love what your dad says. You want something, you get something. You have to work for it. Nobody's gonna, give it to you on a silver plate. It doesn't work like this. And I'm so happy for the message that's coming out from you. You have this platform to speak to others about the strong messages that you need to work hard in order to achieve something in life. And your work ethic, being working girl from the age 14, says already a lot. You are not the one who is going to give up early or give up at all. You're going to strive, you're going to thrive, and you're going to keep pushing. And like I said to everybody, if there is no door in the wall, I'm going to build it in order to go through. And this is the character and the possess, this determination that you have, Dhomonique. And I'm so excited that, you radiate the beauty, you radiate also this powerful message inside of you. So tell me this, what is beauty for you and to you?
Oh, that's a great question. Beauty for me is not aesthetics. That's everything in life goes away, right? So let's all remember that. Beauty for me is a person who is selfless. Beauty to me is someone who puts service to others paramount to themselves. That is beauty to me. Genuine, authentic people who care about others. That, in my opinion, is the most beautiful person on the planet. It's not about lipstick and eyelashes and a crown and standing on a stage. That stuff comes and goes. And I talk about this often, my box here. I talk about that often in terms of even just the crown, my title. It's in a box. The crown is in a box. And it doesn't define me or who I am. It's fun. It's beautiful. It's given me a platform, as you so eloquently said. But at the end of the day, it doesn't define us. It doesn't make us. We come into this world with nothing and we leave this world with nothing. But we have our mindset and we have the ability to change the world for the better if we want to. Everyone has that opportunity if they choose to do that. So beauty for me is somebody who can understand that concept and they really, truly, selflessly are trying to make their communities and their world a better place. Yeah.
That is absolutely excellent, question. And, the answer that you have just proven to us and just demonstrated to all of us. I hope people hear that, take it all in and really understand, especially the girls out there who are trying to pile up those eyelashes, even the lipsticks. Yes, sometimes the beauty comes out from within you, but to put out there externally that, it does not define, it's not going to last forever, of course. Okay, I want you to tell us that moment, when you were on a stage, when you were about to receive the crown. Walk us through, what were you thinking, feeling, were you about to faint? What happened?
The day goes by so fast. So it happened in the middle of COVID-19. So the day was much smaller. We didn't have the same 2-3 day event for state, for Virginia. So I remember they packed everything into one day. Now, pageants are intense. Usually there's like a preliminary show and a finals and all these things. We had one show, we had rehearsals in the morning, we had to memorize all of the routines, all of the dances, all of everything, and then compete a few hours later. So I remember I was like drinking my protein shake, like, let's go, better have the energy here. So it was a whirlwind. One thing I tried to make sure that I did was really be present and be in the moment, because I can now look back and reflect and say, what an incredible experience. The women were amazing. And that's one thing with pageants, they get a bad rap. Like, oh, the girls are all catty and they want to, ruin each other's dresses and hit each other and all this. It's nothing could be further from the truth. This is a group of professional women who want to see people do better and do well in the world. And so I met so many amazing friends in that short one day event. It was great. On stage, I remember standing there going, okay, and they're calling, fifth runner up, fourth runner, you're sitting there like, okay. It was a magical moment. It was magical, right? Because as a little girl, I always dreamed to have a title. And I have so many stories to share with your audience, but I'll tell you my pageant story, because you spoke earlier about little girls, and I miss transparency. because for years I wasn't. For years I was super fake and I was the representative. So when people would see me, I'm like, everything's perfect, life is great, everything's awesome. And it took me years to realize that doing that was a major disservice to women and to girls, because they would look and say, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Because life's not that easy for me, and I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, and I had a bad day today, but she seems like everything is perfect and everything, she has it all together. And nothing could be further from the truth. And I'll go into some more stories about that, about my life and how I got to where I am. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I've had a lot of obstacles that I've gone through to get to where I am. It's a lot of grit and a lot of sweat equity, a lot of work to get to levels of success. So 11 years prior to Mrs. Virginia, I had competed in the Miss Virginia USA system. And I remember I had done a few pageants prior, so I knew what they were looking for. I knew the system, and I had never taken a title. So I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to invest all my money. I'm going to pull all my accounts. I'm going to do this right because I'm going to win. I'm going to win this thing. So I had a coach, I had a nutritionist, I had a dietitian, I had a stylist for clothing, I had a hairstylist, a makeup artist, I had a whole team. I'm like, this is like bulletproof. Like, we are going to win this thing. And so I started 12 months ahead of time, a year before the event. Got everyone on board. I'm like, we're going to do this. Let's do it. Let's do it. And in the process, I started relying on everyone outside of myself to tell me how I needed to be. So people would say, you need to lose more weight. You don't look good with that hairstyle. You need to change this. Don't wear that color. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And over time, in that 12-month period, Dhomonique went away.
Wow.
And I was something, and I didn't even know what I was. And when people would ask, like, so tell me about you, I could not answer that because my mindset was, well, what am I supposed to say? What are they looking for me to say? Versus actually answering the question with how I actually felt, because I was scripted. I was so brainwashed into what everyone thought I should be. So I went and I competed. I'll never forget it. I almost fell off the stage because I was so weak. I was so weak from dieting. It wasn't unhealthy, but I dieted way too much. I lost too much weight. And it wasn't an eating disorder. I want to make that very clear, but I had lost too much weight. And I did not like the way I looked. I was very thin and I had no energy. And I got up there and I literally almost fell off the stage in swimsuit. I'll never forget it. And the whole pageant was just a disaster. My hair was not right. My dress didn't fit. The strap was falling off when I got there. And I remember just being like, I trained for 12 months. I devoted a year of my life and so much money into this. And I don't even know who I am. And I didn't place. I was a finalist, but I didn't get top 5 or anything. And I remember walking away from that so deflated. Like, what just happened? I spent a year. I had a trainer, a dietitian, a coach, a this, a that, a this, a that. How did this happen to me? Like, we were gonna win. And then it took me a while to realize it's because I had the wrong approach. I was in it to win, to the point of where I was willing to give up who I was to win a crown. And Dhomonique was lost in the whole process. I was completely inauthentic. I didn't know who I was, what I liked. I didn't know what color I liked. I didn't know anything. I just was like, just tell me what to say. Tell me what to do to win. I want to win. I want to win. Very wrong mentality. So the pageant ended and I put it in my back pocket. I said, I'm going to run again at some point. I don't know when, but at some point in my life, I'm going to come back. But when I do come back, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to be Dhomonique. And so it took 11 years for me to gain the courage to come back. And when I did, this time, folks were like, do you need help? I'm like, I'm going to be me. And you're either going to love it or you're not. And either way, that is none of my business. So I'm just going to be Dhomonique. I'm going to wear my hair the way I like to wear my hair. I'm going to wear the colors that make me feel great. I'm going to wear the cut of a dress that makes me feel amazing. I'm going to be fit and not like super thin. Like I'm going to be Dhomonique. And it paid off. I walked away with the title of Mrs. Virginia American, and then went on to nationals. And for nationals, same thing. I worked with a designer to design all the pieces because it's a lot of clothes, a lot of outfits. And the gown was just, she outdid herself. She absolutely outdid herself. It was white and had a huge slit. And
I saw that. It was gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun playing dress up, especially coming out of COVID-19 when we've all been in like yoga pants, right? So to get glammed up and nationals were amazing. It was 1 week, no, 10 days in Las Vegas. Every night we were at a gala or a dinner, and it was just rhinestones and beautiful fabrics and sweets, and just they rolled out the red carpet at the Westgate in Las Vegas. It was unbelievable. And I walked away from that top 15 placement at nationals, and they named me most photogenic. So that was cool in America. So I was really honored for that distinction. So it was a beautiful time, a beautiful event. But the lesson for me from all of this was to be yourself. Because no one can be you better than you, right? And so trying to be a representative or trying to be somebody that you're not will cost you every single time, because people can see through it. They want to know who you are. What are you? What lights you up? What makes you come alive?
Absolutely. I'm so happy that, the beauty industry is coming back to the reality in terms of the real beauty. And, it took you like 11 years to realize and find yourself. And your book that you produced that says Reset, you're talking about, being, coming back to your senses, coming back to who you really are without complying or be adapting who you are according to somebody else's opinion, what they think it should better, for you. So you kind of like strive in there. I'm so happy. You are absolutely gorgeous. And Dhomonique, I've seen your pictures. They are stunning. So of course we will be running these pictures, to show to everybody, because come on, they will want to know and stuff. So what would be your final thought or final, remark to the lady this girl who is sitting right now, after the COVID and doesn't know who she is? She's trying to search herself. What would you tell her right now?
Yes. Spend some time by yourself. Most people never do this exercise. They don't know who they are. And in order to figure that out, you have to spend time alone. No cell phone, no pets, no kids, no husband, no boyfriend, no wife, whomever's watching this, you have to spend some time alone. And how you do this is you take 15 minutes every single day, door closed. If you have kids, go in the closet and say, Mommy needs 15 minutes of time. And I encourage you to sit alone and figure out who you are. People don't do this. Most people can't answer who they are or what they like. They're like, well, what do you want for dinner? What do you want? I didn't ask what they want. I want to know what do you want? What's your favorite food? What makes you happy? What are your ambitions? Spend some time alone to get to know yourself. And the reality is when you first start to do this, it's going to feel super uncomfortable. You're going to be like, why am I in here for 15 minutes by myself? And your mind will be like a hamster on a wheel. This is dumb. What am I doing? Keep doing it. Keep doing it. And journal. What makes me happy? What am I grateful for today? Gratitude journals are amazing. And I encourage people to do it every day. When you wake up first thing in the morning, minimally the top 10 things you're grateful for. It could be, I'm grateful I woke up. I am grateful for the roof over my head. I am grateful for the birds I hear chirping outside of my window. I am grateful that I have a bed to sleep on, right? And literally, it just changes your mindset for your day, because so often we focus on the negative things. We don't focus on the positive. So that is how you start to get to know yourself better and how you start to grow from a personal development standpoint.
I absolutely love it. You guys have heard that, grow yourself and spend time with yourself, because it's so important. 15 minutes. You deserve to be invested 15 minutes a day for yourself. You own that time, guys. And of course, I will not let you go from that show unless you're going to do one thing for all of us. I know our audience probably will get mad if I don't ask you to do that. So right now, Dhomonique, I'm going to ask you to, could you please put this beautiful crown on you?
I can. I have it in a little box here in my office. Oh, you're so sweet, Ilona. And I got to share another story with your audience before we leave here today.
Yes, yes.
So here it is. Here it is. Do, do, do.
Oh my gosh, what the beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. My gosh. Radiant, beautiful, just like a beauty queen you should be, Dhomonique. You know, you're radiant from inside, this crown from inside to outside. You deserved it. We are happy, happy, happy for you. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
You. It's an honor. It is an honor. It is an absolute pleasure and honor.
Oh my goodness. You wanted to show something for our audience, Dhomonique?
I like to, so we were talking earlier about transparency and how important it is. And I want to make sure that your audience leaves with a message of empowerment. That's really important to me because so often in life, we find ourselves dealing with what I call imposter syndrome. It's that little voice who tells you you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you are not rich enough, you don't have the connections, you don't have the circle, you don't have fill in the blank. And so we talk ourselves out of situations all the time. I can't do that because I don't have. We play small. Well, if I don't get it, it's because that's a way to protect ourselves. And I want to share a story with you of how I won my first Emmy, if you don't mind.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. We want to know that.
So I'm a 3-time Emmy award-winning television personality, journalist, storyteller. And my story, I love to tell this story of how this one was won because it gives people hope.
Yes.
My story, and then when I speak to little girls, I often ask, I say, what do you see when you look at me? And they'll say, oh, you must be really rich. And you're really pretty, and it must have come really easy for you. And I get those 3 every time. And I always laugh and I say, let me tell you my real story, because again, it's a disservice to people to be like, yep, you're right, and move on. Because there was a lot of obstacles to get to where I am. And obstacles never end. There's going to be more to come, right? You knock one down, there's a bigger one behind that. The key is developing that muscle memory that when something happens, to say, okay, I can handle this. I am stronger than whatever it is that's trying to pull me down. So I was working as a television host in Cleveland, Ohio. I finished my episode the same way I did every day. Every single day, Monday through Friday. I said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dhomonique. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Finished my show, grabbed my purse the way I did every day, walked out of the studio, pulled out my phone, and there was a message from my executive producer, my boss, and it said, meet me upstairs now. And I thought, whoa, what's that about? So I proceeded upstairs, and upstairs in this building was where all of the managers were and human resources. So naturally, I thought, this is not going to be good, but let's see what it's all about. So I proceeded upstairs. I walk into a conference room, and my entire team is in this room. So then my guard went down. I said, oh, I bet somebody's announcing their retirement. Cool. So I sit down. I'm the last one to sit down because I had just finished the show. And my boss, my news director, his face changed. And he looked directly at me and he said, Dhomonique, that was your last show. You are no longer the host of that show.
Wow.
And the whole room went, what? And I just sat there, frozen, because I couldn't believe what had just happened. And I couldn't believe I was hearing this for the first time in front of everybody. I was humiliated. And I was just frozen, locked in on him, just like this. And he said, do you have any questions? I said, yes. Can I speak with you in private? Yes. So we proceeded into his office, and I'll never forget, I said, do I still have a job? He goes, yes. I said, okay, what is my job? He goes, what do you want it to be? I said, the job I was hired for, but I think that's off the table. So I don't know, what is my job? And he said this to me. He said, you have 2 options. You can walk out he said, you have 2 options. You can come back here tomorrow and be a reporter, which was a demotion for me. He said, or you can walk out that door and never come back. Either way, It's up to you. He said it just like that. And I looked and I said, okay, thank you. And then I left his office, walked downstairs. I got to my car. I picked up my phone and I called my husband bawling. I was crying so hard. I said, oh my goodness, what did I do? What did I do? I said, I don't know what happened. I didn't do it. And my mind was like, did I say something? Did I do something? Did I say something? Did I do something? Couldn't figure it out. He said, babe, come home. I said, but everyone's talking about me and I'm so embarrassed. And what did I do? What did I do? Babe, come home. So I proceeded home that night, and my husband is my best friend and he is Mr. Mindset. Like, he has it mastered like nobody I've ever seen in my life. And he goes, Dhomonique, you have two options now. You can either do what everybody expects you to do, never go back in there again, hide your face, cry, play victim, poor me, poor me. He said, or you can rise above it. But only you can make that decision. You have to decide what you're going to do. So that night was a long night, and my mind was just racing. What am I going to do? What's the right thing to do? By the morning, I decided I was going to find the lesson in it, because everything's a lesson if we're paying attention. So the morning I woke up, I got 2 hours earlier. I found a story, because reporters find stories. And I showed up and I was like the rare panda at the zoo. Okay, everyone's like, she's here. Oh my goodness, she came back. So I go into the morning meeting. My boss goes, who has a story today? I was the first one to raise my hand. I said, I do. And I pitched a story that ended up being the lead, the #1 story that evening, the top story of the newscast. And so I finished the day and I said, okay, this is not what I want to be doing, but there's a lesson here. There's always a lesson in everything if you're paying attention. So I kept asking myself, what is the lesson in this? Let me keep my eyes open, because it will be shown to me if I'm paying attention. So a day went by, a week went by, another week, a month, 2 months. I'm like, what is the lesson? But I never allowed it to change my attitude. In my book, I talk about attitude. AIE, attitude is everything, and it really is. So every day I'm like, okay, I had to psych myself up. This is not where I want to be, but what is the lesson in this? Because there is one if I'm paying attention. So 3rd month, the Republican National Convention came to Cleveland. And this year in particular, they were really concerned about safety. I don't know if they had some inside information or what, but I had to go through 2 weeks of military training. Then to go into reporting mode, they gave me a armed bodyguard who had to go with me at all times. His name was Gunny, cannot make this stuff up. So I had an armed bodyguard with me at all times. Then the next day they said, hey, we also want you to wear a bulletproof vest, and here's a bulletproof helmet. So in my mind, I was like, there's a chance I'm going to get shot. They must think I'm going to get shot, or there's a potential. Otherwise, I would not have a bulletproof helmet, vest, and an armed bodyguard next to me. So it would have been easy to run away. But I'm like, what is the lesson in this, Dhomonique? There's got to be something here. There's a lesson in this. Keep showing up. So day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 of coverage, right? It was an intense week of coverage. And then the last day I was in the protests covering it. A fight broke out. I was right there. Coverage from that week, which was incredibly intense, earned me my very first Emmy award. And I tell that story because so often people just see that and they think, oh my gosh, you got an Emmy. It was so easy for you. And there's a backstory behind everything. Yes. And so you talked about the door earlier, and that resonates with me so much because a door is never closed unless you say it's closed.
Correct.
You can walk around a door. You can climb over a door. You can crawl under a door. You can kick a door down. It's never closed unless you say it's closed. You can connect the dots. There's always things there to connect. And if you're paying attention, your biggest miracle is right around the corner. So when you hit those dark times, it's like a basketball. When you hit rock bottom, you're always going to catapult forward. Always. Like that's just the law. It's how it works. It's the law of nature. When you hit rock bottom, if you have your eyes open, if you're paying attention, you're going to soar because you're able led in a different path. But if you have your head down, had I played victim, had I said, I'm going to quit my job, none of this ever would have happened. So that's just the story to inspire your audience to know that everything is possible. And when things feel awful and bad and broken and like the world is against you, keep your eyes open, because it's not conspiring against you. It's leading you into a better direction. But you have to have your eyes open and you have to be paying attention.
I like that. In this note, we're going to finish. Keep your eyes open and pay attention to everything that is going on around you, because there is the sign behind everything that is encountered in your life. You deserve 15 minutes. Spend time on yourself. It was Dhomonique Murphy with us, the Mrs. Virginia of 2020. We're so happy to have you here. Stay tuned until next episode with the IP Resilience.
Ilona, I love you, girl. Super excited, guys. So really excited. I'm so excited. I can't even hold it in anymore. So on June 1st, 2021, you might be watching this before, you might be watching this after, it doesn't matter. I am launching something so exciting and I want you to be a part of it. MediaMasteryNow.com. I want you to type it in right now. MediaMasteryNow.com. It is a brand new company that I'm launching and I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be one of my founding members. And let me tell you what it's all about. If you need help, which we all do, when it comes to confidence, do you struggle with confidence, right? Stepping out, going after what you really want? We got to work on that mindset. So we focus on confidence. I help you tell your story. Every single one of you has a story. Most people don't know how to craft it. Stories are what get you noticed. Stories are what get you picked up. Stories give you even more confidence. I help you become an effective communicator. Do you want people to stop and be like, oh my gosh, I love her. I love him. That's amazing. That comes down to effective communication, and I'll teach you how to do just that. And then from there, I do media training. Imagine yourself on TV right now. Imagine yourself on the cover of a magazine, in the magazine, on the newspaper, on podcasts, on radio stations. Imagine. I teach people how to do just that. I will teach you, yes, you, how to get on camera, how to land media opportunities within a few days. It's really simple. Most people just don't know how to do that. So here's what I want to do for you as a gift. This is like, I don't do this, but I want to give a gift to you because I just adore you. So if you go to MediaMasteryNow.com, okay, MediaMasteryNow.com, I am going to give you a free gift. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give you 2 free gifts. How does that sound? 2 free gifts. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but trust me, you want them. So MediaMasteryNow.com. Only the first 100 people will get the gift. Okay, you get 2 of them. I'm going to give you 2 epic things that are going to start your journey in the right way. I want to help you master the media. I want to help you get to the next level. We are going to do it together. So visit MediaMasteryNow.com to sign up. Completely free. Let's get you to the next level. And on top of that, while you're there, I got to shout out my girl, Ilona. Yes. IP Resilience is epic. It is amazing. Make sure you are following. Make sure you are subscribing. Click follow. Find her on Instagram. Find her on every social media channel. Go to the website. Just subscribe everywhere you can find IP Resilience. Trust me, it will change your life. Thanks, guys.